Yes, and welcome to the hottest show on the planet. I see Gray with class and the Community Coalition. It sounds so delicious. I love it. I love it. I love it. I am your host, Aaron Lavender. Ain't nothing changed. We're still the hottest show on the planet. You guys know that. You know, it's still the hottest show on the planet. You see the sun behind me right here over the bridge. We try to build bridges, and you got the sun just rising on up, baby. The sun just rising on up. It brings a smile to my face every time. And without further ado, I got my special guest with us, Lisa Graham. But before we get to her, my brother, what's happening? He's another co-host. The host is with the most. Let's talk about it. My brother, Stephen P. Stack. Talk about it, baby.
Hey, welcome to our program.
Glad yes, sir. Back. We back. But you know what? As I was before when we were talking before, I forgot to mention one thing as we were talking before we got on, and that's those hurricanes out there in the south.
Yeah.
You know, Hurricane Helene, and I was looking this up before we got on. You know, the death toll of Hurricane Helene reached 227 people passed away because of that storm. Lives were lost. Then there's a new Hurricane Milton, I believe, is coming next.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just as dangerous. They upgraded to a Category 5. Hurricane Helene, they say, was the deadliest hurricane since Katrina in New Orleans. You guys know how bad that was. I think like over 225 people. So that even surpassed that. This is a dangerous time. I got some family members that live out in Florida, and I have friends that live out in Florida, and I have friends and family members all over the South. And I just want to, I don't know if the right words. Also, I found out too, this one city, there's a small city in Florida. I forgot the name of it. It escapes my mind right now as we're talking. But it's totally gone. The whole is underwater. And the sad thing about it, only one person in that whole city had flood insurance. Think about that. One person. And I was like, wow. And I'm sure a lot of people don't have flood insurance because one, is too expensive. And two, they just, they just can't afford it. They just can't afford it. So my heart goes out to them. And I don't know, Steph, you want to piggyback off that, bro? We talked about.
I think, wow, in this time and age too, some people just think it's an unnecessary evil to add extra cost for flood insurance because they're saying, hey, it's like once in every 100 years we're gonna have a flood like this.
Yeah.
So you never expect it's going to happen to you, but I'm telling you, global warming is real.
A real deal.
And because the last 8 years, the weather has been ridiculous. I mean, they have these, the satellites and the models, but they can't predict the weather anymore.
Wow.
Same thing that's happening with this hurricane. Because it originally was had a Category 2, and then today it's up to a 4. And then now it's a 5 because the winds are 155 miles an hour. And they say that's because of the warmer weather in the Gulf. And that's what's picking up. So it's crazy. And we got to take care of our environment a little bit more than we have been.
Amen. And Lisa, your thoughts on it while we're talking. We like to have these conversations just off the cuff,
Yeah, no, I mean, it's devastating. And I see a lot of local places that I've gone into this weekend, a lot of people doing what they can, collecting donations, collecting materials. I would just encourage people, get with Red Cross, get with some legit organizations. There's a desire, everybody wants to do something and you feel so helpless. At the same time, they can't have so many people running down to the site, where this is happening. That puts a drain on resources. So, and I learned when I worked at the Red Cross, I was an intern there years ago, just sending money. I know people are worried when they send money, cash donations, they want to send things, but money is always really good because the more things you send, they have to have people on the ground there to sort those, distribute them. The money can be pumped into those local economies. So, I think it's great that everybody wants to help and get with a professional organization to find out the best way really that you can help those people. And I know we all want to.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I definitely agree with that. I know Debbie Stillgrave is doing something with sending some stuff over there. So shout out to her and whoever else is being a part of that. It's sad that we're going through this as a country, and yet still people politicize these type of things. When a hurricane comes, it doesn't decide okay, you're Republican, so I'm just going to wipe you out, or you're a Democrat, I'm gonna wipe you out,
Right.
or independent. You know what I mean? And that type of thing pisses me off when I see those things when you politicize something of this nature. Where have we gone? We've gone so far bad that I don't even know if that's even a word. I just can't. I'm just furious of how people politicize people losing their lives. And this is serious stuff. You just don't play with stuff like this. You know what I mean? Like, where's your humanity at? You know what I mean? It just bothers me. So I don't know. I just thinking about that. And I know we just got into the show, and I still haven't introduced my guest yet, our guest yet. You know, this young lady, I call her a young lady because she's in
Thank
the
you for that. Appreciate it.
like me, yourself, my good friend, someone that I believe should have been Woman of the Year last year of all the things that she went through and still standing strong and having the courage to do the things that she's still doing. I love her to life. I think she's an amazing person. I think her heart is genuine and she's doing the best that she can for our community. So without further ado, I just want to introduce one of my favorite people without hesitation. Her name is Lisa. Right.
Hey, Aaron, thank you. I have never been introduced like that, and I appreciate it. I come back every week on this show. But no, thanks for having me. And thanks for doing a show on World Mental Health Month, World Mental Health Day coming up tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? No, the 10th. October 10th is World Mental Health Day. But thanks for doing a show, to talk about this and to put some attention on this.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, October is Mental Health Month. And then it's Mental Health Day this Thursday coming up.
Yep.
And then you want to talk about some of the things that you got going on far as, well, explain to us about what's going on with mental health nowadays with your organization and how you guys are getting through it right now.
Well, first I'll say World Mental Health Day, which we're celebrating right now, it started back in 1992. So every year since 1992, there's been, attention paid to this, which is great. And this year's theme is prioritizing mental health in the workplace, which is so important. We all know we spend so much time at work, and your workplace is a big contributing factor to your mental health. So that's what the theme this year is. And so want to talk about some of the things that people can do, some of the things that I know locally, a lot of people are paying more attention to mental health, the mental health of their employees. And so that's just really, really very important. So yeah, thanks for letting us talk about it. Here at Monroe Community Mental Health, we really started the last few years really starting to focus on making sure that we're encouraging our staff to engage in a lot of self-care. It's just so important, whatever your job is. If you are not well yourself, you just cannot, it's the old cliche, put your own oxygen mask on first. It is a cliche, but it's so true. In any field you are in, if you're not well yourself, you're not going to be able to contribute and give your best. So that's why I'm so happy to see this as the topic and encouraging people. We here at Mental Health, Community Mental Health, last year, 2 years ago, we created this wellness room. It's just like a little room where people can go. It's got a little massage chair and some nice lighting, and where you can just go and take a little break. Things like that are simple things you can do in your workplace. That employers can do. Most employers do have like an employee assistance program. If you don't know about it, if you wherever you work, ask about it. That's usually a really good anonymous way that you can go get some help, and your employer usually will cover the cost of a few visits. Those are really good things that agencies can do.
There was an old saying, Steph, you remember this. That person went postal, and it was that back then we didn't understand what that really meant. We just knew somebody was wilding out and wanted to do something to somebody because their mental health really wasn't right. But it wasn't really focused on mental health right there. We just said this is an angry person and ready to do something to somebody. So having this conversation about mental health in the workplace is so important to have. You agree, Steph?
Yeah, most definitely. And so I of course too work at mental health. I'm the director of the clubhouse. So one thing we do every day is I coin a phrase that I make them, we put it on the screen every day. And I tell them, be good to yourself so you can be good to others.
Yeah.
If you're not doing well, how are you going to help anybody else or do anything for anybody else? So that's one thing that our members talk about every single day is about being good to themselves first
Mm.
and foremost, and making that a priority. At least like, that's funny that you were saying about the EAP and being anonymous. So a lot of people aren't that fortunate. So especially if you're an athlete in professional sports. So I was just reading today that the Detroit Red Wings goalie is off because he went into EAP person to see EAP person. So that's they just put his business right out there, you know.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
wow.
now he's got to deal with all that, especially with whatever else he's going through. So that's
Oh,
not
wow.
it's not fair, but that's what they do when you're a celebrity,
Yep.
and so that's somewhat unfair to those. But yeah, it's important. Uh, and Aaron, you know, when we was growing up, what they used to tell us: get out of your feelings,
Get out of your feelings.
get
Man
out of
up.
your feelings. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we were taught. So now we're trying to teach a younger generation something new that no, you have to take care of yourself. Back
Yeah.
then, you were soft if you was feeling bad or depressed.
You
Yeah.
know, I have to piggyback off that because I think they didn't know how to deal with it either. So they didn't know how to articulate how to deal with that. You know what I mean? So they just that's the only knew what they knew. Be tough,
Yeah.
toughen up, you know, stuff like that, you know. And that's unfortunate that a lot of us struggle and had to go through those things. And still some of us are dealing with that today. You know,
Yeah.
childhood trauma becomes adult trauma, you know what I mean? And those things are triggering to those adults right now that's living with it. So one
Yeah.
thing that I've learned since being a part of this coalition, which by the way, is a beautiful coalition that started what it's almost 2 years now
Two
or something.
years now, I
It's
think.
something how fast that went.
I
Wow.
know.
Wow. And I've learned so much by being part of this coalition that really made me think outside the box. It made me think how important the stigma of mental health is. And as you see, more and more people are getting more comfortable at talking about mental health and getting themselves together. What do you attribute that to, Lisa? The stigma, and do you see that slightly being accepted nowadays now than it used to be?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more acceptance. There's a lot more awareness, which is
Okay,
good.
awareness. Okay.
Awareness is good. A lot more acceptance and understanding. Potential, people trying to be understanding. I still think we stigmatize ourselves a lot. I
Hmm.
still think that we create. We still have a lot of, one thing the pandemic did was really gave awareness to mental health and mental wellness and how important that was. The other thing, as we're talking about mental health and mental wellness in the workplace, is we now, I think more than ever, have such a blend. A lot of people are working from home, and so they're not setting up good boundaries. And so they're like their work, their life, it's all blended together. And I think one thing we could do is do a lot better job of putting some boundaries on around like our work time. And
Hmm.
then because I think we still, where there's the stigma about mental health, there's also still like this, oh, I need to be everything all the time to all people and not taking care of myself. And I think we've done that a lot in work in the last few years too. Now that everybody's got their email and their work email on their phone,
Yeah.
and like we expect to be able to be available to everybody all the time. So I think that's one thing that I was thinking about, how can we help people here at my place, or how can you at your other, wherever you work, help to maintain your mental wellness around your work, and the stigma, maybe some of the stigma about it's okay to say no. It's okay to
Hmm.
put up those boundaries and say, I'm available from 8 to 5 or 8 to 6 or whatever. This can wait till tomorrow. I don't have to respond the minute that something comes into my inbox or something.
That's great. That's why I love having these conversations. I don't see this as interviews anymore. I see these as healthy conversations. Those that are watching, maybe experiencing some of these things as well. And hopefully we're giving you some resources, some ideas, some thoughts, and some knowledge about what's happening in our world and around us. And a lot of times it's okay. I should say a lot of times, it's okay all the time to reach out for help if you need it. Because again, like they said, you can't help anybody else if you can't help yourself. And that's the big part of saying, I have a problem, I need to get help. And here are the resources that are available to you, and I need to seek those. And a lot of that stuff, what gets in the way is people's pride. People's pride get in the way, and that's the bigger barrier. Pride has killed more people than a lot of things in this world. Talk
Yeah,
about it, bro. Talk about
yeah, you're correct. And so my first experience with depression was when I was in college, and it hit me and it wrecked me for a minute, you know. But the outlet I had is like every Saturday I can go on the football field and do something about it.
it. Mm.
But that was my first time actually going to a therapy. So I had a therapist at college, and just amazing, and taught me how to care for myself better, you know. Um, but you know, be you football player, you get to be a big tough guy, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
I was broken, you know what I mean? I was broken and
Mhm.
didn't know that until I talked to somebody. And then so a therapist can help you recognize things that you would never see, you know what I mean? And give
Mhm.
you advice and some insight into some stuff. So, you know, a lot of it was just I had some childhood trauma I haven't dealt with
Yeah,
that rose up at a particular time, you know. It may be coincidental, but it affected me like that. I mean,
absolutely.
I didn't eat for like 2 weeks, dropped like 20 pounds. I was a mess. And then the
Wow.
coaches were worried. That's why I got to a therapist. But even now, and I never told anybody that. It's the first time I told that story ever.
Wow. Wow.
I was that
I
bad.
never heard.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was that bad at that time. And then so you learn to develop some coping skills or some coping mechanisms to help you through
Mhm.
your day. So like right now, I try to be disciplined and get myself up at 5, go to the gym, then go to work. When
Mm.
I don't do that, I'm kind of dysregulated.
Mm.
So I do things just try to regulate myself to take on my day. Because I know after work I'm not going to the gym. It's not happening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my self-care.
Yeah. Steph, I want to say really thank you for sharing that. That takes a lot of courage because still for men, there is a lot of stigma. A lot of men, don't want to talk about that. And so you're going to help, just you saying that, you're going to help a lot of people watching this who are going to go, oh, well, maybe I can do that too. And so really, thank you. Somebody's going to go and get some help today because of you saying that.
Absolutely.
And the other thing that you said, I think is so important is having a routine that goes right along with self-care. Self-care isn't just going and, getting a massage. It is not a one-time event. Self-care is an ongoing, thing that you have to do. And so figuring out what works for each individual person and then doing that. And self-care isn't always fun or easy, right?
Oh,
It's not fun to get up at 5 in the morning and go to the gym, but like you said, if you don't, what's going to happen. And so again, sometimes we think self-care is like this fun stuff that we do, which it can be fun sometimes, but it's putting those things into practice that are going to help you ultimately with your mental health, with your physical health, with your overall day. And then the last thing you said, Steph, that I think when we talk about in the workplace is that coaches noticed something that was going on with you. And I
mm.
think in our workplace, we can look out for each other, whether you're a supervisor, whether it's your colleague, we can look out for each other and we can help steer people and notice like, hey, I noticed something's off about you. Like, pay attention and notice and show that care and reach out and let people know that it's okay. And that, like I can tell and I'm worried about you.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things, well, the biggest hurdle I had to overcome was allowing myself to be vulnerable to
Mm.
share these things. And I think that's a problem that a lot of men have is we don't want to be vulnerable because then that's a sign of weakness, and then we're afraid that we're going to get taken advantage of
Mm.
because we're weak now, and we need to break that. That's stigmatizing as well. So that's something we need to break as men, to be be vulnerable, allow yourself to be.
Yeah, what you said that's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Being vulnerable is a sign of strength. It's just the flip side of that. But we've been taught that it was the other way, but not that way, right? Which
Yeah.
is interesting to me. We got about 3 minutes to go, 3 to 4 minutes. See how fast this went? when you're having these
Always.
when you're having these real conversations about life um and these real deep conversations about your mental health, it's important that we have these type of shows, Steph. And I think I'm so proud that we've been doing this for 8 years and we have these type of topics and we just get undressed. Not literally, but you
Not that kind of show.
It ain't that type of show. Maybe after, no, forget about it. But no,
Yeah.
Lisa, for those people that don't know, you might be tuning in for the first time. We got about 2 minutes. Tell us about where you work, and how they can get in touch with you if they are seeking also that type of help.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. So Stefan and I both work for Monroe Community Mental Health Authority. We are our main office is located over on Raisinville Road, but you can get us on our brand new updated website, which is
Yes, nice.
monroecmha.org. And we offer all kinds of behavioral health, mental health, outpatient, whether it's therapy or seeing a doctor or helping somebody with a disability who wants to work. Giving someone like you do at the clubhouse staff a structured day with some family and companionship and life skills. We offer so many different services, and anybody with a mental illness, or even if you don't know if you have a mental illness, you just don't feel well, you're not yourself, that kind of stuff, come give us a call. We can do this over the phone. You can walk into our lobby. There are so many ways that we are trying to make it easy for people to access our care. And we want you to do it as soon as you start to feel these things. And don't wait. It's just like any other physical illness. The longer you wait, the longer it's going to take you to recover. So the minute that you start feeling these things, give us a call and look at our website, walk into our place, whatever it takes. If you don't want to walk into us because it feels a little too intimidating, talk to your family doctor. They can, they can sometimes help too and refer you to some resources. But at Mental Health, we've been doing this for well over 50 years in our community, and we would love to meet with anybody who is having some kind of problems and help get you on your journey to recovery.
Thank you, Lisa. Again, I get so much kudos to you and your staff and your team for what you do for this community. It's not easy being in the position that you are, and we recognize that. So I just want to say thank you for all the things you've done. You do a lot of things and behind the scenes that people don't know about, and we really appreciate you and your staff for making those things happen.
Yeah.
Steph, you got a last thing you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, even if you reach out to us, doesn't mean that you'll get services from us. We can refer you out. We just want you to get help.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do at Mental Health. You don't have to have services with us. We'll refer you out to somebody if need be. We just want you to get help and take care of yourself.
Amen. Amen to that. And with that being said, we're going to leave you with love and respect.
And unity to inspire change.
No doubt. In order to see clearly,
you have to see gray.
We see gray. Do you? Peace. One love. And to my family out there in Florida and the South, please take care of yourself. We're putting our arms around you, and we love you. Peace. One love.
Take care.
Thanks, everybody.